Gentlemen, right here, back for another Transformers transformation review thingy, and also a birthday haul because it was my birthday. Well, at the start of this week, and I had a party here last weekend for some local-ish YouTubers. I had a really good time. It was great to meet Nick Hardy at long last. FTT Productions, Futuristic Nick, and of course George, exaggerated elegy was there. Will, who's the ghost of Starscream, and ominous voice Rob, and their respective lovely ladies, Tash and Danny. We had lots of fun, and they made lots of food and drank lots of beer, and I got lots of prezzies. So it was good. So I'm going to show you my birthday haul first of all. Feast your eyes. This is a nice thing. It's a fantastic little thing. This is on my list of things that I wanted. This is Nick Hardy. Give this to me, and it comes with a rather sad story because he gave it to me from his own collection, so he doesn't actually have this now. And I nearly sent him back home with it until, of course, I had a good look at it and realized that nobody can have this but me. This is a beautiful thing, Nick. You're a lovely man, and this is very, very nice. Love it. Very nice. I've had a really good play with that. And then I got some Creo. And it's so much more fun than I thought it would be. So I got this, and well, I know that you want a Creo Starscream, and it's really, really good. You get a lot of Creo for your money. It's at a pretty good price these days in this part of the world. This is a very, very nice bit of kit. I haven't yet turned him into his bot mode, but look at little Starscream there having a grand time. Oh, it's lovely. It's so nice. It's so nice. Oh. Little bit pops off him there. And then I got this, which I wanted, because I just did. There's an awful lot of glare on the screen. This is a fun game. Ratchet and Clank is just fun anyway. I do notice on this that the background and the scenery and the graphics aren't quite as luscious, and things aren't quite as sharp, and it feels a tiny bit cheaper than the other Ratchet and Clanks. Just a tiny bit. Just a tiny bit. But it's fantastic nonetheless. Absolutely fantastic. Where am I going next? I should go here. Then the wonderful and redoubtable George, exaggerated elegy, got me this, a web star. And I like it so much. See, this is the thing. I don't want to start collecting this line of Masters of the Universe. I have some of the I have the Masters of the Universe that was the 2000, is it? I have some of those mint on card, but I don't want to start. I think this is Classics Webster, isn't it? I don't want to start collecting these, or rather, I do, but it's a downward spiral because I loved Masters of the Universe the first time round, and this guy was always one of my favorites because he's kind of an arachnidy style. He was always kind of monstrous, and he's just lovely. And these are posable. If I start collecting these, George, you're in trouble. And then he got me this Nemesis Striker. It's great because it's my first Striker mold, and I've always wanted her, so I've got her. Very, very nice. And I'll get on to my review guy in a minute. It's Frostbite, obviously, you all know it. But I also got a Prime Megatron, and was so excited because Will brought his Power Rangers Prime, and it was so much nicer than I thought it would be. I seen the first edition Prime, and I thought, and they look so good. The first edition stuff looks shit hot, and it might get a limited release here in the UK and Toys R Us and whatever, but I just don't know. But the Power Rangers Prime looked great. So on my birthday, I opened up Megatron. It was the morning, and just immediately loved it. Awful flat colors, so I had my paints ready. So I put him into alt mode, turned him back into bot, then painted him. And I kid you not, it took me 4 hours. I dry brushed the ass off that guy. Everything was shiny and sparkly, and he looked fantastic. And then I started to transform him back. After 4 hours of painting, only to realize that he had broken, or he was broke. He was broke when he came out because I only transformed him twice, once on the alt, once on the bot. He was broken at the waist. That is a flimsy ass fucking waist he has. And indeed, the actual plastic is really thin, and very fragile, very, very brittle. So it doesn't take away from the fact that the actual bot and the transformation of him is really lovely. And it's great for me to get a new line of really good bots that I can really that I can really throw my lot in with, because I did not get behind the movie stuff at all, and I just can't. It's just the way it is. But the Prime Toys is great. But unfortunately, my first exposure to Prime Toys was was a broken bot due to flimsy, brittle plastic, and I was disappointed. I took them back, and you can't get Prime Toys at the minute here for love of their money. Argos is sold out. I know, because I managed to get one cliff jumper in the whole of the Midlands. There's one cliff jumper, and this guy's great. I got him yesterday. Uh, he suffers again from this rather shoddy, thin. You can look around. You can see. To look at him. He's got all these thin, plasticky, brittle, fragile joints to him. But that's we've got to accept that as Transformers collectors. You've just got to get behind it. You have no other choice. Otherwise, if you want a really nice, solid plastic bot, you're going to be paying upwards of 20 quid for something like this in order to get that quality and density of plastic. So, this is our lot. This is what we have to accept. Oil prices being what they are, and of course, it's a finite resource, so cherish it while you may. This is what the future of bots. Thinner, smaller, a lot smaller, flimsier, lighter. Don't want it to be brittle and breakable. But this guy's nice. I do like this bot. The only issue I have with him is the fact that this entire section here is molded. This is completely molded. This is not a bit of transformation. And I came across that before on the leader class Bumblebee from Dark of the Moon, where this bit folded up and became his chest piece, and it looked like it had transformed detailed on it, but it was just molded. I was really disappointed after paying a silly price for that, 40 quid, maybe 50 quid for that. That there was a molded bit of plastic that looked like transformation. I don't like the fact that that's okay. And I have to say that it has to be okay, because there's nothing I can do about it. I cannot buy these toys, but I like this bot a lot more than the things that I see that are as flaws. And this is molded. I'm not a fan of that. I'm not a fan of molded pieces that look like that they have been transformed. It just it defeats the raison d'etre, the purpose, the everything that is very, very special about Transformers. It cheapens it a tiny bit for me, and I just don't want that to happen. Just don't want that to happen. Moving on. So, this is Frostbite. George got me Frostbite, and I've wanted him for the longest time, because he is a repaint of this fantastic. This is Cackle. I've never known him as Jawbreaker. He is Jawbreaker, but in his initial European release, he was known as Cackle, and then he became. And then for some reason, I don't know why, Hasbro had a hissy fit or whatever, he eventually became Jawbreaker, and that was his more numerous release. This was a requested review by someone. I can't remember the username. If I know, usernames are quite often unremarkable, aren't they? So they've got numbers and letters, and I just don't remember them. So this is for you. You know who you are. This is Cackle, Jawbreaker, and I wanted the repaint Frostbite for the longest time. Now I've painted this Frostbite. I've customed the ass out of this guy. Unless you're very familiar with this mold, you might not see exactly what I've done. But I've added the silver in his teeth, which weren't. There was no silver there. I've added any gold that you can see there. I've really finished this gold off nicely. A little bit of silver there, and I'm very pleased with this odd little kind of nuclear type nub, which was completely grey, flat grey, and I've given that a colour. His knees, I've brushed them. I've dry brushed them all over. You can see with this silver, which where are we? This silver here, and on his back claws, you see I've given them a really good silver coating. This is a really, really nice toy. This side looks probably a little bit more impressive. I've gone to town on this little section. I did spend quite a few hours doing them, and I was really, really pleased with the results. Now, Frostbite's bio is BG. I don't know it because it's quite difficult to find, but I would recommend going to George Exaggerated Elegy and looking at his review because he has done extensive research into the background of this guy, so he knows it very well. And let's take his tail off. No, let's show you the gimmick first of all. Now, the interesting thing here, oh, which I'll show you later. This is the nice little thing here. That's nice. And of course, this is Universe Frostbite. So he is a Decepticon and not a Predacon. A little bit of movement in the tail. The legs have great movement all over. There's really good forward and backwards movement. Even on the feet, you can get this kind of thing going on. Really posable. The head, not so. It will rotate. And there's a little bit of vertical movement, but not so much. Tail, just a little bit, but that's quite enough. I've really spent a bit of time on his tail as well. I've picked out the silver bits, which you can't really see here because the camera doesn't pick it out so well. But let's transform him. Nice transformation. Basic kind of Beast Wars transformation. You basically stand the guy up, you know. And that's just... you stand him up, you open a few cavities. And he has... which is a very Japanese thing. He's got a big beast head for an arm. I've painted quite extensively the little the bot head as well. Now the interesting thing about Cackle, who's the first jawbreaker, he's Transmetal 2 Cackle to me. This is a great bot. Unfortunately, the bits that are Transmetal, you have to move quite extensively when you're transforming them. So you're left quite if you have him, don't transform him. Just don't, because shit, it's just going to fall off him. And you'll be left, your hands will be covered in little red flecks because any transmetal parts that need to move a lot are transmetal parts that are going to lose their transmetal 2 coloring. Just fold the little bits up here. Now there's a couple of different things you can do with the arrangement of his legs. Both the Beast Mode's rear legs form these giant, form these giant big shoulder pads, and of course, in that there are a number of things you can do in order to make it look good. And rather like Transmetal 2 Black Arachne, you can pose them any old way you want. Now, what I like to do first of all, I like to turn that head 90 degrees. Now, the bits that I like to point forward are these. This is these, which are kind of these little chevron-y type hooks. You see, there was no silver there previously until I had a good old paint of this guy. Very, very nice. We're almost there. It's such a simple transformation. Put him in a half decent pose. You can see there is a lovely big Decepticon sign there. Let me just lighten that up. Big Decepticon sign there to prove that he is Universe and no longer Beast Wars. You see on his back, there was none of the silver and blue that you can see there, and this is the inside of the bot head, rather that side. I quite like what I've done with that. I put all that gold and silver on, and I added some details and the blue as well. But it was in his face that his face benefited most from a little bit of painting. I added some silver, I added some gold, I added some blue, and interestingly, I gave him a set of nice silver teeth, which he didn't have before. It seems like a massive oversight. But more or less, this is him in his transformation. And he does look very nice. You can see that his the beast head does become this hand. The initial transformation was going to be so that the beast head came back a little bit, or that the mouth part would come out an inch or two and separate slightly from the beast head. But for some reason at the last minute they decided that wasn't the way it was going to be, so they pinned it. They pinned it so that you can't move the beast head, the teeth, the jaws out of the beast head's mouth. But that's just the way it goes sometimes. There's the sword. I had lots of detail to the sword. Oh, any silver that you can see there. Nice. You can't really see it so well here. Give him a little bit of flashing on this sword weapon here, just to take the bad look off him, because he was nice and frosty and cold and blues and whites and pale, but he just needed a little bit more detail. He needed a lot more detail. See all this nice silver here at the side, which didn't exist before, just really brings the coloring, brings the kudos of this guy up a notch or two. I love these big shoulder pads. Makes him look like he's wearing a big fur coat or something. Great little bot. Nice detail picked out in his chest there. I love this dry brushing technique. Also in his groin there. Dry brushed his groin. I dry brushed the bot's groin. How often can you say that in your life? Why not? This is the very, very lovely Universe Frostbite, the repaint of Transmetal 2 Cackle, or Jawbreaker if you like. But he'll always be Cackle to me. This is a very lovely bot. I'm very pleased I got him. And George is the man to get you a birthday present or two, because he knows what you like. Good night.
Now that's what